Right, what I'm going to show you here is a few ways of bump starting a compressor that might have seized. Now first, 99% of household, domestic or commercial compressors have this configuration. Common terminal is at the top, start is to the left, run is to the right. The main differences with this are Dan-Foss or Embraco, where it's inverted. Common is at the bottom, and you have to think of this as turning it through 180 degrees. It'll then be exactly the same. So start becomes here, run becomes here. Okay? Now this is a starting box for a 9460. A few of the slightly larger commercial, domestic, well, not so much domestic, more commercial compressors, have an external relay box. Now what I've done here, if any of you are familiar with SPP starters, boosters for air conditioning units, you can sometimes use this in here. The start capacitor is this one, it sits externally. The run capacitor, which just smooths the running amperage, is this one, the smaller of the two. If the compressor is stuck, what you can sometimes do is take an SPP, which is this, and put it in parallel with the start capacitor. You'll have to trace the terminals for yourself, but basically this one and this one, the shared common, neutral, go to the start capacitor. So what I'm doing is connecting this one in parallel through here. And that's what I was doing on this old compressor here, which has been used for well, at least 5 years. It's finally seized. I'm going to mess around with it for a little bit and see if I can get it freed up and working again, but meanwhile I've replaced it with a slightly smaller version which is in place now and working. Another point of interest here. This was a commercial air compressor. The compressor broke its crankshaft, so somebody threw out the whole unit. Now the air tank is perfect, so I took a Necchi compressor, which is actually an Italian one and very reliable, and I've grafted it on here. And when I say grafted, I mean like in the American expression jury rigged, which isn't like in the English expression when you rig a jury to give a false testament, but to set it up temporarily to work like this and see how it goes. It's rather nice insofar as it has quite a few extra features on there. I'm able to take the feed for the pressure control via this, put a spiral in for the discharge where it feels from the compressor to compensate, and here a ball valve. Well, there's no way anybody's going to fork out money on these unless they are left over from a very large installation, and somebody gave me 2 of these valves. So they've been sitting around for ages doing nothing. I decided to modify it to go on the outlet for this, for the compressors, and what I'm doing now is actually trying it at a slightly higher pressure than usual. I've got it running at 175 psi because a few people have said to me they want a slightly higher pressure for cleaning things. They'll regulate it themselves when it comes out. I'm also using an air bank, these 3 tanks which I've shown before, connected together with this to increase my reserve. What was rather interesting with this yesterday when I came to set it up, it came from a workshop on the edge of the desert. And I was getting stung while I was setting it up. When I looked carefully, there was a whole bunch of baby scorpions, and when I say baby, very, very tiny, coming out. I'll enclose the clip of that on here as well. But meanwhile it's set up and it's working rather nicely.